All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue with our pop-up book that we've been working on now for a bit, and we're going to start here with shape and form. So I've got multiple pieces and all this fun stuff. Let me move this out of the way. We're going to talk about the piece first. So this piece, I have not written the instructions yet. You're going to have to bear with me. This piece right here should not be this plain by the time you're done with it. If you look over here, there's a lot of work to do to decorate this castle. So just like every other thing, you have to decorate first, then you worry about cutting it out and putting it together. So right here on the front, on this large piece, you'll see I've got these two topiaries. I've got a cone on the left, I've got an oval on the right. I have two tree trunks that are expecting you to draw me a geometric shape to create these topiaries. Now they don't have to be very, very big. I do expect them to be at least bigger than a quarter. And they can actually go bigger than the castle itself. If you go past this line, it's fine. Just cut around where whatever you draw in there is. And we'll move on. The only thing you don't want to do is you don't want to go past the fold. So where this folded line is, you want to keep your topiaries on this side. So geometric shapes on top of these trunks, and then you're going to shade them to turn them into geometric forms. Now, organic shapes are going to be used to decorate your castles itself. All of the other pieces that we've done thus far have stones on them. These are all organic shapes that I have included in order to create this stone texture. You can also draw organic shapes in the bushes. If you want to add bushes in between the topiaries, you may do so. But we have it here as well. So all these little rocks and these shapes, you're going to need to draw organic shapes to create a texture on the castle. I expect you to turn this cylinder and cone into forms. I expect you to turn these columns, there's two, one on either side, and these two into forms. And I expect you to do that by using value, which we've talked about before. Now, once you have done all these things, you've given me geometric and organic shapes, and you've given me geometric forms, you can cut this bad boy out. For expediency, yoink, there they are. So we have these pieces here, and the way this is going to actually build, this is another V-fold. So just like before, we have our letter V right here. These are going to get glued down, and we're going to fold that castle to give it a three-dimensional appearance. This will actually fold out three-dimensionally. This is a box fold. It has an attachment piece here that you're going to be using to glue to the back of the other castle. So what you end up with is you end up with an actual kind of a second layer. It's not really third. You end up with a second layer. Okay, so those are goals, and we're going to do that right now. So let me open up to a page in this composition notebook. This is going to be installed on, excuse me, page 2021. Okay, I'm just kind of putting it in randomly for right now. And we're going to start with this piece right here. So just like with V-folds before, this seam, this point in the V and the fold that creates from it needs to line up with the seam of your book. It needs to line up as closely as humanly possible. Now, we do have an issue because this book does not open up flat, and these pages are not cardstock, where it's going to be a little bit flimsy. That's okay. All right, but we're going to start with these pieces. And the other part that I want you to look for, when you install, look at it upside down. Make sure that the end of your castle does not go past your book. It needs to be above that. Okay, so I'm going to install it right about here. And we're going to put glue on these tabs first and foremost. So I'm just going to put glue. You know what? Opening the glue would probably be a good decision. Open the glue before you use it. And then put some glue on here. Not too much. And then you're going to smear it all in. Now I'm being lazy, and I folded this bad boy together to kind of do it all at once because reasons. Reason being that I'm lazy. You're going to smear that out. Make sure you get all the excess glue up. Do not leave gobs. If you leave gobs, you are going to ruin the book. It's going to come out and it's going to seal your book shut, and we'll be like, I told you, you didn't listen. Okay? And we're going to line that up. We're going to make sure it's in the right spot. I'm going to angle it slightly and make sure that corner is here in the seam, and I'm going to flatten this bad boy out. And then I'm going to fold this down, just like so, and I'm going to close the book. Yoink! Just like that. Okay, so we're going to close this book down. We're going to let it dry for just a second because I don't have giant gobs. Because I don't have giant gobs of glue anywhere, I don't actually expect it to seal my book shut. We're going to open it back up, and I'm going to hope I'm going to get to the right page the first time. Oh, look at that magic. It happened this time. Okay, so this is already standing up, and we are good to go. It's lined up and all this stuff. I see some pulling up right here, so it needs to be pressed down a little bit more because it was pulling up. So we're going to hold that down for a little bit longer before I proceed, because you really want that to, there, just like that. You want it to be able to move that page. If it doesn't move that page, it's not good enough. Now, what we're doing with this is we actually have to line, this baseline up parallel to this line here. These two pages, because this is a box fold that operates on 90 degrees, we have to have that run parallel, okay? And it can go all the way to the back of the book because it folds forward. So it can come all the way to the back over here, and then once this is attached, the box fold will come up and attach that other castle piece, like so, okay? So we're going to glue these tabs together, and then we're going to attach them to this castle. Excuse me. So let's get all these tabs. And we'll put some glue on here. Look, it's open. I did it this time. A little bit further away. And we're going to smear that out carefully so we don't make sure we get it everywhere. And these tabs are all nice and clean and cleanly glued and coated evenly. Nice. All right. So again, I'm going to pull this up so it doesn't block what I'm doing. And I'm going to line this up so it is as close to parallel as possible. Close to parallel as possible. And we're just going to attach that in there. Pay attention to your feet. They can be off to the side a little bit. Make sure that each of the legs of that clock tower are actually even. And I'm going to take that box fold and I'm going to commit it to that location on the back of that castle. And we're going to hold that all together. So we're going to give it a second to dry, or at least to the point where it's holding on. Okay? And what you'll notice is as the page closes, that box fold piece, this piece right here, is actually pulling that tower down too. So that will pull down too. So now this entire page will fold. We're going to commit it right here and give it a second. And what that's going to do when we open it back up, which again, hopefully I'm lucky enough to get to the right page. Ah, look, twice. And once that comes back up, let me grab that page. That's what we end with. So we end up with the clock tower, which is slightly wonky because of the page curl. Not entirely sure why. It is. It's 100% because of the page curl. But we end up with that clock tower, and we end up with these. And once these are fully decorated, it'll look really cool, just like that in the background. Super neat. If you feel, this is where it gets really fun. If you feel like you need additional stability, you can 100% take a piece of scrap and fold it to the same width here. Give yourself a fold tab. Measure that out. Use a ruler instead of eyeballing it. I'm being lazy. Fold that out. Okay, and now I've created 2 new glue tabs with way too much glue on them at the moment. Get it on there all nice and clean. And you can actually attach an additional box fold piece to the upper part of the structure like so in order to solidify the structure. As long as they're about the same size or really close to the same size, excuse me, as long as they're about or really close to the same size, it will still drive that mechanism down. It will fold under, and the entire castle will do like this. We close it and we hold it to help commit the fold so that it kind of has like the weird paper memory. It knows where it's supposed to be now. I'm wiping the glue off my hand, excuse me. So let's open that bad boy back up. Oh, I missed that time. There we go. And both of these box folds, see them right here? Both of those box folds will now open up. Whee. It's not a good angle, but we're going to run with it anyways. And that's what we end up with. So now our clock tower is not so floppy, and it looks like it's where it's supposed to be. And this is it. You're done. Not that bad. Get her done.